Hi, and welcome to the Redcast. I'm your host, Eric Lanin. Today we're going to be talking with JJ Thole, the Interactive Marketing Manager at Cambria, and we'll be discussing sales enablement and how they scale their marketing. So let's talk a little bit about what progress looks like.
Yeah.
And you talked a little bit about identifying quick wins, and it's, sometimes you don't want to say we were successful at all these very large projects, and you may have a large project, but it may have a lot of milestones within it that you can claim as kind of a quick win.
Yeah.
So what are the things that you're doing to identify those milestones that you're accomplishing from a marketing standpoint
Sure.
and as an organization?
I think the pilots in the test work that we do to make sure that whatever work, I guess the strategic direction that we're headed, do these tactics fit? I think are great ways for us to measure progress and have milestones that say, okay, our dealer partners really appreciated the work that we did to help to drive more consumers or customers to their door, right? And customers that they knew had a project, not just someone that was stopping in because they watched HGTV and really liked what Chip and Joanna Gaines were doing. I don't even know if they're on that channel. But having pilot programs where we can truly measure the benefit before we scale, I think are things that show great progress, show quick wins, and also afford us the luxury of doing more in that path if it makes sense.
And it allows you to innovate and
sure.
and tweak and tailor before you get to a final product.
You learn more when you start small and it makes it easier to make those changes. The other thing that I'd say overall is something that's not necessarily measurable, but you can feel it in the culture, is just a change in overall mindset.
Sure.
Right? You execute on something that you think makes sense, and it shows a return. It may not be the most fantastic thing, but there's promise there. And you can see the mindset and the excitement that people can kind of get on board with that.
Yep.
So in some of the pilot programs that we've been working on around lead generation,
Yep.
with and generating leads to our partners, we've really seen a change in the way that people approach their programs. So
Interesting.
yeah, so we have a sports marketing group, we have a channel marketing group. Obviously, I've mentioned our social media team. And you can see the shift in mindset as our department and our team is really trying to lead that path for generating more leads for Cambria and Cambria's partners. You can see the way that you can hear the way the conversation changes. You can see the way that their programs are evolving to align with that work. So not necessarily something that's fully
Where you have the full gamut of data to support.
Right.
Here's the ROI of it. We've been able to proof it out.
Right.
It's validated.
Right.
And sometimes you're right. It's gut instinct, but I think that's where leadership can kind of drive that insight from. I sense that it's kind of like digging or panning for gold in a certain way. It's sometimes you get a couple flakes and it's okay. Are these flakes that are going to lead me into a gold mine, or is it just a fluke?
Yeah.
So I think it would be good to share, maybe an example of kind of what are some of these pilots that
Sure.
programs that you are working on.
Yeah. Well, we've changed. We know a lot of consumers visit the Cambria's website monthly, and we're driving more and more volume there. But just getting volume to our website doesn't sell product, right? And one of the challenges that I mentioned earlier was making sure that we can have a mutual sharing of data between Cambria and our partners. So one of the things that we've been piloting, it may seem pretty obvious and basic in the grand scheme of the world of marketing nowadays, but we've been piloting the process that it would take us to deliver consumers that want Cambria directly to our best dealers, right? And the learnings have been supremely valuable. Not only knowing the amount, and if we were to try to turn a dial here, what it might do for us, turn a dial down there, what it might do for us. But it's actually it's transpired into kind of a change in the way that I think our sales leadership thinks about marketing, and our sales leadership thinks about the relationship that our sales team has with their partners, their dealers, their retailers, and their market. Where it becomes more of a collaborative effort. as opposed to, hey, I just want to make sure you got everything you need for Cambria.
Sure.
Right?
It's like, oh, just saying hi. It's like, well, is that value add? You're just checking in.
And that's, the checking in and the relationship building, that's an enormous part of sales.
Oh, absolutely.
But to be able to bring business to your partners, and to show them additional value beyond what we've done so far, really kind of changes the relationship and the dynamic that someone has with Cambria.
And I think that's an important thing to note is you're creating a two-way street versus a one-way street. I've seen a lot of partnerships not necessarily fail, but struggle to be mutually benefiting, where it's, I have to produce work for you, but it does not necessarily add value to my business.
Right.
You're identifying that this is a two-way street for us, where the more I put into it, the more you get out of it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And because of it, we get out of it, right? Yeah. So, and that wasn't overly specific of an example, but it's something that it was new to Cambria, and it changed, and it definitely has changed mindset, which is, I think, one of the biggest hurdles there is, right? Getting over this is the way we've always done it mentality.
Totally.
What is it? The
Just
7 most expensive words in business, right?
All right.
It really has opened the doors for people to say, like, hey, what if we just what if we change this program just slightly so that we could also kind of get to where you guys are going with this lead gen for our partners. So it's been a great program that we've been developing, and I think we'll just be continuing. We'll continue to scale it and test things out here and there. It's been fun.
Cool. So I kind of want to end it with, what is some of the advice that you may want to offer someone that is struggling with any part of their sales enablement strategy, whether it's all the way from the inception of an idea from the marketing side to the delivery through sales, or vice versa, getting that feedback to marketing where it's, hey, this is a great idea, but it just does not work.
Yeah. I would say the place that we always start with is, what data do we have? What do we know? What don't we know? And how can we better understand what we don't know, right? Make decisions based on data if you can, and if not, start talking to people. Tell them your plan, tell them a story about how that plan will work, and get their input. Our sales team has been invaluable as far as helping us understand at what points in time we need to try and be there and interject, and at what points in time it may not make sense for us. They've also been, really great about delivering us information back on the data we're generating on individuals that want to buy Cambria, and whether or not that's actually valuable, right? At what point in time does someone that's remodeling their home need to have a conversation about what their countertop may be, right? Or someone that's remodeling their bathroom, if they want to put Cambria in their shower, which is really cool, by the way.
I'm sure.
Personal goal there. How far in advance do they need to have those conversations and decisions, right? So identify which data you have and how that's, what story it's telling you, what data you're missing, and see if there's ways to try and find it. That can be a challenge, of course, right? I would say identify where your quickest win, your quickest value add may be, right? Maybe at the beginning of the funnel, maybe at the end of the funnel. Work with your sales team, work with other marketers to identify, if we were to increase the number of people we had at this moment in time, would that trickle down into more revenue? So I would say start with data, make decisions based on it as best you can. If not, talk to the people that are selling it. In our case, that also includes our dealers and our retailers, right?
So it sounds like, keeping a seat available for sales. And,
they've got to have a seat at the table at all times.
Yep, and I think a lot of organizations struggle with that, not because that they don't feel that they need it. It's, we got it. We got it under control. It's like, thanks for the information. We're just going to go into our little marketing cave and pound out some stuff, and we'll come back. It's sales needs to be part of that development, and as you're iterating that stuff, it's reconfirming. And sometimes sales gets it wrong, and sometimes marketing gets it wrong.
Another invaluable resource in that regard has been our customer service team. We've got a great team that mans the phones. Responds via social, and of course email, and pretty much any other way that you can get in touch with somebody, right? But it's amazing how many people will just call Cambria and ask questions. and the amount of data that our customer service team has that can tell a great story about what kind of fears do people have when they're remodeling, right? What kind of issues do they have that we might be able to market them with other tools or resources or information to either alleviate that fear or empower that, interest, whatever it may be. So it's kind of like a tag team of marketing and sales and IT and customer service, and I'm sure I'm missing other people in in that group. But when we get the entire group to the table and have open dialogue about the problems we're solving and how we can best get there, the ability to actually make change is so much greater.
And I think a lot of organizations struggle with, well, why should IT be in this conversation?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't see the value of them being part of it. People get very protective of, this is my project. I don't want them to be playing in my sandbox. And I think it's a natural defense mechanism that everyone will always have. And it's just let them talk, or let them just sit in and to listen.
If not for anything but just visibility. Right?
We're being open with you because we want to be working with you. Once you create those silos, and I think any organization that's much larger that has those natural barriers, which is not necessarily created out of desire. Like, no one likes silos, but they just naturally happen because this is my work and this is what I was given to do, and I'm going to do it. And then once I'm done, I'm going to go to the next project, and that's you got your head down. You don't really kind of look up and pop up. I think a lot of organizations, marketing, sales, the rest of IT, the support resources need to understand what the organization does.
Right, and it gets more challenging the larger business is. Right, you're either in separate locations or you don't know exactly who to go to. I guess the Cambria example may be different, but there's really been an emphasis put on collaboration. Not only within our own marketing department, but cross-department collaboration. That it starts with leadership saying, "Hey, we have to make this a priority." And it's easy to say; it's much harder to practice. But if you can open the doors and share your plans with people, it's quite amazing to see what they can add to it. Whether it's actual resources to help you execute. Which is always a great thing, or it's just, all right, you need to be careful of this and you need to be careful of that, and when you get to that point, let us know and we'll help with whatever it is. It's opening up and sharing plans.
And it's also creating a culture to be more willing to help than hey, I got a project for you, go do it. It's like, hey, I have some good ideas on that. Let's chat. And just creating that culture of collaboration.
Right.
But that desire to help above and beyond what is kind of what your department or your team is responsible for. It's we create those natural walls where it's over on your side, not my problem anymore.
Yeah. And of course there's a natural salesmanship that comes with those types of collaborative meetings, right, where you're really trying to push for the yes and conversation and then the no buts. But overall, if you're opening up the gates and opening up the doors, it definitely has been helpful.
Cool. Well, I appreciate the conversation, JJ.
Yeah, it's fun.
We'll catch you guys next time. Cheers. We hope you enjoyed this episode about sales enablement. If you want to find more of our discussions, you can go to YouTube, iTunes, or Stitcher. And as always, please subscribe.